Welcome to another Heart to Heart Talk with me. I'm John Kuert, the pastor at Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania, bringing to you another thought for the day from my heart to your heart, and I hope it will be a great blessing to you today. Well, Psalm 18, we find that David was looking back after a great deliverance. He was rejoicing because the Lord had rescued him from his enemies. Now, his main enemy was King Saul, but he had lots of enemies. And David indeed had just been through a terrible time of testing. Saul had put a bounty on his head. King Saul, so jealous of young David, put a bounty on his head and had chased him relentlessly so that David was forced to sleep in caves and dens and open fields. And David said of that dark time, listen to this, the sorrows of hell surrounded me, and I lived in distress. Ungodly men made me afraid. My enemies were too strong for me. They all hated me. But you know what? God came roaring out of the heavens to deliver David. You know, demon powers had surrounded David. The enemy had come in like a flood. And yet David was able to say, God came roaring forth to pull me out of those swirling waters. He rescued me from all my troubles. He brought me forth into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. I think sometimes we all feel like that. We all feel like we have been chased by the enemy. There's temptations seem to be lurking everywhere, and we find it hard to escape them because those things are really from the enemy of our souls. And we just feel kind of out of it. We kind of lost. We feel like we are just existing spiritually and just holding on by a thread, and feeling like we are failing just about at every turn because the enemy is so strong and so powerful against us. Well, I want to tell you, if you need deliverance, if you need rescued, whether it's from lust or whether it's from the temptations to whatever, or whether you're facing trials, or whether your problem is mental or spiritual or emotional or physical, this verse is the key to your victory. And the key is simply this: God delights in you. You are precious to him. You know what? God did not love David, King David, any more than he loves you. We are the apple of his eye, and he cares about us. And he sees the struggle that we're going in. And believe me, we are in a struggle greater than we can even perceive. I was reading out of Daniel 9, and it talks about the struggle going on in the heavens. We do not fully grasp that. Paul talked about it a little bit when he said we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in high places. It's going on, and we are involved in it. And it spills over to us, and Satan is trying to tear every one of us down and destroy us. He's hunting us like a prey. But you know what? God is on our side. And if God's with us, who can be against us? And so I just want to encourage you today that just like God delivered David and came to his rescue, it says God came roaring forth to pull him out of those swirling waters and rescued him from all his troubles. He can do the same for us because God's no respecter of person. He cares for you just like he cares for me and like he cared for David and for all of us. So just hang in there and pray and fast and seek God, and find some friends to pray with you if you're going through a battle. David had to, a lot of times, fight the enemies on his own, although he did have Jonathan, his good friend, and he had some other great associates that were with him through it all. And so just don't feel like you're all alone. God's with you, and he said he would never leave you or forsake you. So trust that. Trust him for that. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me once again for another heart-to-heart talk. I'm so glad that we have this time together, and I hope that today's message will be a blessing to you in your life. And I want to also be a blessing to you. If you would come to our church, you would find a relevant message for your life. You would find great worship. We have a superb worship team. You would find that we have great fellowship and food. And so we invite you to come. Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania, 499 Grandview Pike. You can check our website, alphaag.org, for all the information, or go to our Facebook page. And we would love to have you. Please think about coming. We would just be thrilled if you would come and visit us. So God bless you today and each and every day. I hope that you'll have a great week, and that the Lord will just reassure you of his promises to you this very day. God bless you.